So with the state of play right around the corner and a lot of behind the scenes people claiming that, hey, Resident Evil is finally going to be revealed in the state of play, this must be a great time, right? Because it's definitely going to be shown, right? Because we haven't been told what it is, and it has going to be shown, right? Yeah, just like the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, I lied. But let's get the bad out of the way first, because I'll be honest with you, the state of play overall, other than that, really surprised me in a good way, because this is probably the best one I've seen in maybe a few years, personally. What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back here with some Fortnite. What the hell? Guys, I'm going to be honest with you right now. I have not played Fortnite in, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, honestly. I played Fortnite when it first came out, before it even had the whole Battle Royale mode, when it wasn't, popular as it eventually became to be. So, yeah. And it's that I enjoyed those first 2 years a lot. I had a lot of fun playing with people I knew, friends and stuff like that. But eventually, you kind of get sick of playing the same thing over and over, and you move on to other things. And I had really no desire to come back and play. But what got me back to play, ironically enough, was I kept seeing the whole thing they were doing with Dr. Doom, and I just thought, I might as well just go back and see what it is. What do I got to lose, right? And with Dr. Doom being brought back in the MCU, even though I'm still wondering how that's going to turn out. I already made a video talking about that and how I wish him the best of luck. I just got to see it. But, and the other thing that really helped me out too is, I'm not going to lie, that Black Cat skin is dope as hell. And I am a big fan of Black Cat as well as Catwoman. I don't know, just something about the cat burglars that just get to me. But anyway, all Fortnite talking aside, I will just warn you, as I said, I haven't been on this game in 4 or 5 years. So if you understand, there's a lot of things I don't understand, items I don't understand, trying to get used to the movement. The whole stamina thing is a foreign concept to me. There are things I do like, seeing footprints and seeing the distance and where gunfire is being shot and stuff like that. But there's a lot of items and stuff that just I have no recollection of or no experience with. So you see me doing weird things or not understanding concepts, just understand. I haven't played in 4 or 5 years. So I apologize for any of that, and I'm not very good, so you have been warned. But nonetheless, let's get into the actual content of this video, and that is to talk about the latest state of play. Now, the thing about these state of plays, I always go in there with kind of just like, maybe I'll see 1 or 2 things, hopefully at the very least, that interest me or look pretty cool. A lot of times, they're just not very good. Now, one thing I will say is, at least with these state of plays, the one thing I will say is they're kind of short and sweet. They don't take too much time. They're like a half an hour, sometimes a little bit longer than that. And a lot of times there's not a bunch of talking. It's just showing gameplay, which is kind of how I prefer. I just hate when you have those figureheads that sit there and talk to you 24/7. I just want to be like, just show the games off. I don't need to see all that stuff. You can do that when you're like showing a whole showcase of a single game personally. Now, the last state of play, if I do recall, was the one where there might have been like 1 or 2 things, maybe even 1 thing. I think that was where Astro Bot was shown off, ironically enough, and I thought that was the best thing in the whole thing, which turned out to be very true, because Astro Bot is awesome. If you haven't played it, I recommend it as well. It's also where they were trying to show off Concord, of all things, and that was their big thing they were showing off, and the less about Concord, the better. So, sticking with Astro Bot, they had a little confirmation of some of the free DLC they're going to be dropping. I think they had Helldivers too and StellarBlade joining, which I'll talk about a little bit later in the video. But that's cool. As I said, I'd like to see some more IPs that we have seen. They're more recent IPs. I'd like to see some more classic IPs. I think one I really want to see join Astro Bot would be Gex. I was a big Gex fan back in the day, so that'd be really cool. I know I've seen some people say maybe Spider-Man or something like that, but we'll see what they have to do. But there's a lot of things they could include. But yeah, I think they said it was sometime going to release later this year. I don't think they gave an exact release date, but yeah, I'll definitely be playing that for Astro Bot. Another game that said it looked kind of interesting and cool was the Hell Is Us, and it had a unique aesthetic, and as I knew nothing about it, but it looked kind of cool. I think it comes out 2025 as well at some point, and I'm hoping some of these games get pushed to 2025 because they're getting botched up in this October, November, December release date. There is a thing of having too many games to play in this whole thing, but that looked cool and interesting. It kind of like was going off a horror vibe, but a little bit of action oriented as well, and had a cool concept going on. But we'll have to see where that does in the future. Dragon Age Belgar looked kind of cool. It's been a while since I've played any type of Dragon Age game. I remember playing the original one, and I remember playing the Inquisitor, but that was, as I said, about a decade ago. It looks cool how you can swap between the magics and all, and have combinations depending on who's in your party. That looks cool and unique, but I think it's going to be a game that, unfortunately, I'm going to have to pass on. There's just too many games to play right now. Just way too many things to play for me. And as I said, I'm already loaded in October with Silent Hill, as well as we're going to have something else, which is my next thing, is the Alan Wake 2 DLC, which is the Lake House. Now, you know me, I love the base game of Alan Wake 2. I love the DLC they have, especially with coffee kills, and yeah, coffee will kill you. Just be careful. Jim Carrey was not lying when he said caffeine will kill you. But but my point is that this DLC looks to have that same vibe. It looks to include that whole creepy, murder vibe, that aesthetic that Alan Wake 2 is known for. That comes out in October. I'd definitely be jumping on that, so I have no problem getting there. Hopefully it gives me a little bit of time between that and Silent Hill 2, because I have some other things. October is just jam-packed. I've been kind of giving a little break this past month, but man, it's going to ramp up next month. So I'm enjoying it now while it lasts, but Alan Wake 2 definitely looked great. With the DLC. I know it didn't show too much, but I don't want it to show too much. I want to be surprised, see where they go with this in terms of the whole lore of the stuff. The next thing that they had was the StellarBlade DLC. Now, as I said before, StellarBlade is definitely another game I really highly recommend. I played it earlier this year. You can check out my videos on the channel. I love the fact that their DLC is going to be collaborating with Nier Automata. That, to me, it just made sense, and seeing them both have a collab with each other just is perfect. By the way, I think Nier should be something that they have as Astro Bot too. That's another thing you can do as IP, but seeing that both the series have their creators' blessings and all, and they're both fans of each other, I just think it makes perfect sense, and I feel like they should just honestly have this. I'm really curious to see what they do. I wonder if they're going to have an actual story thing, or it's just, hopefully it's not just costumes, but they have something story related where they team up and stuff. Yeah, that'd be really cool to have 2B and Eve together and stuff. Oh, Black Cat on Black Cat action. Yeah, everyone's happy for that. But honestly, yeah, as I said, I really enjoy the base game of StellarBlade. They have the photo mode coming in, which is cool. And I'll be honest with you, another game I'm going to talk about later on, coming at the end of this video, never discount a good photo mode, because you can get lost in that. And I'll bring it up later on in this video if you know what I'm talking about. But now for my next one, and the last two things I'm going to talk about in terms of reveals at the State of Play, which to me were the two biggest ones for me personally. If you are new to this channel, if you already know, you know, but if you are new to this channel, if there is one game I wish I could will into existence, whether it be a brand new title, an actual new title, not whatever the third one of the franchise is, I don't count it as one of the franchises, I just pretend it doesn't exist, or if they want to remaster the old ones and bring it back Aloy, how they did Tomb Raider earlier this year, or if they want to do a remake of the first two, it would be Dino Crisis. It is the one thing, if I could will it into existence, it's the number one thing I would do. And I remember posting about a week or so ago that it has been exactly 24 years since we last saw Regina, which is a crime in its own right. It is an absolute crime. I remember about a year and a half ago talking about before Death Island came out that, oh my God, Jill Valentine hasn't been seen post Resident Evil 5 in 14 years. Well, Regina has been absent for 24 years. So, this Regina crime is just, you got to give us Dino Crisis fans some credit, man. We definitely know how to take a beating. But finally we have something that seems like a step in the right direction. And I'm going to think maybe a little bit too deep in this, but hey, I'm a Dino Crisis fan, so I'm used to it. So, basically, they revealed that if you have PlayStation Plus, that they're going to add some new games in the catalog, and one of them next month was Dino Crisis, the first one. And while I'm happy that I can finally be able to play DinoCrisis, it will mean I will have to get PlayStation Plus. But I guess that's a sacrifice I'm going to have to make because I currently don't have it. But my point being is that I'm wondering if this whole thing is kind of them testing the waters. It just kind of feels weird and unique that they would do DinoCrisis of all things right now, especially after they had the Capcom survey where DinoCrisis was the most wanted game, seeing in terms of a new title, whether like remake or something like that. And also considering the fact that they just, which I saw recently, had like a little poll from Capcom, do you want more remasters or stuff like that, a la the way they just did the Dead Rising remaster, and DinoCrisis is one of the options. And I'm just wondering if, maybe I'm thinking too deep, but I'm just wondering if that's literally like them testing in water, see if so many people download this thing. And I'm not going to be one to tell you guys, oh, go out there and download it. You know, you spend your money how you see fit. And, you know, I feel like anyone should be able to do that. It's their right and all. But hopefully enough people do, you know, want to see DinoCrisis, they do download it and, you know, get it from the catalog. Because as I said before, the day that ever gets announced, you might have to check my heart rate, because I might not be breathing real easily after that point, or breathing too heavily. But the point is that DinoCrisis means a lot to me, and seeing it, you know, I'm taking small baby steps. And as I said, it's a little frustrating sometimes, because I just look at, like, hey, you know, I look at the whole Resident Evil success story, and, you know, obviously we didn't get any Resident Evil announcement this time. And by the way, guys, I'm going to be honest, as I said, this is where I don't know what the heck is going on. I'm surprised I didn't shoot that Gwenpool there, because it probably would have scared the cover of me. I didn't know what this whole thing was. I didn't know if you went inside of it would drain your shields. I realized you couldn't shoot through it, and I just didn't want to take a chance. Eventually, I just said, hey, you know what, I'm just going to run, get the hell out of Dodge, and if he chases me, maybe then I'll get him inside the shield to hit me. But, and not to mention the whole auto turret thing, it's just, you know what, there's too much unfamiliarity with me. I'm not very good, so I just ran. So that was my whole thing there. I didn't know if that thing zapped your shields, if you went inside of it. It could have just been a bubble shield, and that's it. Just protect the person inside from fire, but they could shoot outside of it. But that's my whole decision. I said I have no idea. I didn't want to take a chance. But anyway, him at the DinoCrisis, it's just kind of annoying when I see Resident Evil. And I love Resident Evil, guys. It's one of my all-time favorite franchises. But I just wish, you know, DinoCrisis get that same love, because I feel like DinoCrisis on that RE engine, or REX engine, which eventually is going to be. And that's me just having a little copium to everything. Oh, Rex engine, it has to be for DinoCrisis. But me just wondering, hey, you know, it could look so good, and I still think it can. And I think it could be extremely successful. And, you know, go on to what was said earlier, that old DinoCrisis can't exist because Monster Hunter exists. I just don't believe it. I don't see how that has any bearing, because that's the case. A lot of games wouldn't exist then. So I just feel like, you know, why not? I think it can make money. It can be successful. Whether you do a remake or a remaster, a lot like Tomb Raider style, I think it'd be extremely successful and stuff. And, you know, it won't do Resident Evil numbers, but what is going to do Resident Evil numbers and stuff? So it could be extremely successful, and I hope one day we can talk about it. But this is definitely a step in the right direction. I am happy about that. But then we get to the last big announcement, and I've heard things about this earlier, and I didn't know what to think. But obviously, the next title in Ghost of Tsushima, and by the way, guys, I saw that, and I said, hell no, I'm getting out of there. I've seen that whole thing, Dr. Doom thing. I said, hell no, I'm getting out of there. They've pawned me so many times, I'm not even going to try it. But anyway, I saw the whole Ghost of Tsushima possibly getting a sequel a lot. I didn't know whether, you know, it was going to be a true sequel. I didn't know if I wanted a sequel, because as I said, if you don't know, I love Ghost of Tsushima. I highly recommend that game. It was some of my earlier videos back in 2020 on the channel. I did a lot of coverage on it. Definitely recommend it. But I was just thinking the game was so good. I don't know if it needed a sequel. I mean, I like the aesthetic of it, but I just didn't think it needed one until we got Ghost of Yotei. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but... And I was thinking, okay, now I was looking at the years, and what I noticed was that it takes place way after Tsushima, which I think is the right decision. You know, Tsushima takes place, I was looking up reason I didn't remember, was 1274 on Island of Tsushima. This takes place, I remember, I think it said 1604 in Yotei, and as I said, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I apologize. But I think that's the right decision if you want to keep that aesthetic and stuff. Because I was thinking, how are you going to do a sequel of all the events that happened at Tsushima? But I'm really excited to go back there. As I said, I was talking earlier about a photo mode. Ghost of Tsushima's photo mode was something I fell in love with so much. Like, I spent so many hours in it. It was absolutely ridiculous how much I was... It's kind of like in Fallout 4 where I spent more time trying to build the Fallout settlement to the first settlement I owned and actually played a game. It got addicting. That's how the photo mode was for me in Ghost of Tsushima. But it wasn't because the main game wasn't exciting. No, the main game was awesome. I loved the online mode with the Oni demons and stuff. That stuff was absolute fire. And seeing another game of that same franchise, I'm wondering if they're going to have some type of like, you know, lore thing where you see Jin Sakai mentioned and stuff, and maybe they'll even have like a online like demon mode where you can encounter like a demon version of him and have a fight like that from people in the past. That'd be really cool. But I'm really excited to see that, and I can't wait to see, you know, how the area looks in 1604, the new landscapes, the new area. So I think if you were gonna do, I guess technically a sequel, it is, but this would be the way to do it, and that comes out 2025. I'm really excited for that. I can't wait. So overall, I have to admit, this is one of the better state of plays I can recently remember. I mean, I'm not saying it's a masterpiece, no, but I definitely went in finding more things I enjoyed than more things I just was annoyed by or just didn't care for. More things I'm actually looking forward to and that I actually want to get. Yeah, there was no Resident Evil announcement, but once again, as much as I do love Resident Evil, the world doesn't revolve around Resident Evil, and it's absolutely fine. I know they probably want to spend more time advertising Monster Hunter, which is fine. It's another big IP, which is probably going to be the biggest IP Capcom has by sales within the next few years because it just sells that much, and it's catching up to Resident Evil. But my point being is that the only reason why I even thought that maybe it was inkling was that there was some guy, I didn't focus too much on it, but it was some insider, whoever, never even heard of him before, was saying, oh, well, Resident Evil 9 was going to be shown off, and yada, yada, yada. I took it with a grain of salt, but, you know, you never know. And it didn't turn out to be true, which, once again, we're used to at this point, so it's nothing new or fancy to any of us there, but there were so many other things that I could care less about at this point, so it'll be shown off when it is, and it's probably going to be shown off sometimes next year. So if you want Resident Evil content, some advice, probably find something else to get into. You got Silent Hill 2 coming out next month. You got some other games coming out, and other franchises. It's fine. We've been spoiled rotten a little bit in the Resident Evil community with non-stop games, and if you gotta wait a few years for an announcement, that's fine. You know, some franchises have been waiting, you know, 24 years for any type of thing, like poor Dino Crisis. So let other people have at least a chance or a shot here. But yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. I mean, compared to the last state of play that was basically trying to promote Concord of all things, this is night and day. So I definitely give them a plus in that. And yeah, so maybe I won't say they've learned their lesson, but this definitely did leave me in a lot better mood. I know we got Tokyo Game Show around the corner, and we'll see what they do for that. But overall, I definitely was more pleased. I was kind of just always expecting things to be terrible, but I guess eventually, you know, the blind squirrel finds a nut, or a broke clock is right twice a day. And here we finally have me finally getting to the end of this, and I'll be honest, I usually choke these fights so much when it's just me and the last person left, and I'm usually terrible, but I do get lucky here eventually. But overall, it is nice to, I guess because I haven't played in so long, it is nice to get back on here and play, because I thought I was just going to get screwed and my ass kicked, but not too many times. It's just with all these superpowers I'm trying to get used to with, you know, lock-on stuff and Doom gauntlets and stuff like that. I still remember the whole Infinity Gauntlet of Thanos, but that seems like a walk in the park with the Care Bears compared to everything else I got in here. But nonetheless, I get the Victory Royale after first time in God knows how long. But that is going to be it. That is my opinion. I want to hear your guys' opinion. What did you like about the state of play? What was your favorite thing, possibly? Let me know down in the comment section down below. And are you happy to see DinoCrisis take a step in the right direction? But that is it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully I can see you guys back in the next one. Thanks, and I'll see you all later. Peace.